What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna make a calculator app which looks like this, which is really easy to make this using React. And what you see around these things are just pure CSS. I'm not using any SVG or images to do this glassmorphism or this shapes around here. So guys, this calculator works as everything fine. You can make any mathematical calculation like sum minus 6 which equals to 1. So that's it. So let's do this. Here I have just created an empty React app with h1 tag of calculator app, and I have excluded those unwanted files like the app.test.js file and the report.js file, so we don't need that crap. So I have just excluded those things. So now let me just run this file by just let me just close this. Here I'm just going to enter npm start like so, and I will just close this thing because we don't need that. It will just run the app in our browser, so you can see. So guys, our empty React app is here. You can see the calculator app, just the h1 tag. So that's it. We will just see the app.js file here, and there's nothing in the public folder also. That's it. Now I'm just going to have style this app background first. I'm just gonna say height of 100 VH and width of 100 VW. That's it. And I'm just going to have a background color something like this, and I'm just going to take I have already selected the background color, so I'm just going to take this from the source code like this. I'm just going to paste it down here. You can see the linear gradient from this color to this color towards the right, and this is going to be a background image. So if you just save this and open the browser, you can see that the app is here, live here. So guys, this gap arises because of this h1 tag. We will just move this towards the center so that this won't appear. So let me just hard code it now. I'm just going to have a display of flex and flex direction of column something like this, and the justify content as space evenly, and the align items center something like this. If I just open this browser, you can see that the gap went up because our text is in the center, so that's why it is like that. So now we will just have a few things to the app. Now I'm just going to have those shapes, so I'm just going to have few div. So it is because I think we need to have a react, something like that. We will just have something like this, and I'm just going to have a react. I'm just going to say a div. So in this we are going to have x and another div which, what this data grid, I don't know. Something like this, and then we are going to have a plus, and then we are going to have a percentage, which is a modulo for us programmers. So now I'm just going to say equal to. So I come up with this awesome font called Indie Floor from this Google Fonts, and I got the link of that, which looks crazy enough. So I'm just going to have this link here, and if you want that, search it in the fonts.google.com, you will get that. So now I'm just going to have that by selecting the app component, something like this, and the nth child, and the nth child is going to be a 1 because we are selecting this first x, something like that. So here I'm just gonna say position absolute, and font size of 30 rem, which is a really big size, and a font weight of 900, so that it looks very bold. And a background image, I'm just going to have the same image, but a few changes. I'm just going to say this is going to be a left, something like this, and here I'm just going to give the 30% to reduce the yellow content in the sorry, to increase the yellow content in the background. So that's all. And so here, if you just see this page, let me just refresh. You can see a block of into, which is a really ugly thing. So we're gonna have a linear gradient for this font, something like we're just gonna have something like background clip. I'm just gonna say a background clip of text and color of transparency, something like this. If we just open my web page, if we just refresh, you can see that this awesome, I have just created text with a linear color gradient. So now we're just going to have a font family which is going to be of indie flower. So let me just open this now. I can just have it here. So if we just you can see this is really awesome. So now let me just place it somewhere else in the web page. So I'm just gonna say something like a top of 35% and a right of 15%, something like this, and I'm just going to rotate it so that it looks really cool. Rotate of minus 40 degrees. So if you just load my page, let me just move it over here. You can see that this exists here. So now we will just style these things also. So for that we will just open the code now. I'm just going to use the same piece of code by just shift option then the down arrow for 4 times, and I'm just going to have the nth child of 2 for this, and nth child of 3 for this, and 4, something like this. And here I'm just going to say right to give an alternate effect, something like this. Yeah, and we're just gonna say I'm not just going to rotate this because I believe that this second child is a plus. If you just rotate this plus, it's gonna look like something like an X mark. It makes a multiplication, so I'm just not going to rotate that. So let me just remove this, and I'm just going to say a top of 25 and a right of minus 3, something like this, and minus 25. If we just save this, you can see everything is collapsed. Wait for it. So you can see the plus is here, over here. We will just, it is good. So now we got to style these things. Now I'm just going to say this is going to be this is going to be a top of 25 and left. I'm just going to save this as a left, and left of 70, something like this. Really, these positions or trial and error method, I have just hard coded and I have tried many times to get a perfect place for this, something like this. If I just refresh this page, yeah. So I'm just going to have 40% here and 10% here, and I'm just going to rotate this to minus 20, and here I'm just going to have a 30 degrees. So we just refresh this page. Now nothing happens where my equal to went. What I have done wrong, because I'm just going to have a minus 40. You can see that is over there. Why it is there, I don't know. So here we're just gonna say a left of 10%, so it comes here, so something like this. And now I'm I'm just going to jump into the calculator part. So now we're gonna create separate components for the calculator. So we will just create a folder first called the components, something like this, and a folder in it called input keys, through which we get the input called js, and another file called output display, where we will be displaying our output, something like this. So now here I will just have our array fce. It will just autocomplete everything what I need, a boilerplate kind of that. So now we have to import it here. So I'm just going to say import output display from the components slash output display, and I'm just going to have input keys, something like this. And here I'm just going to import the app.css file, something like this, and I'm just going to copy this and the same thing here. Yeah, now we will just use this as individual components here. First I'm just going to display the output, display, something like that, and we need input brackets to enclose this component, and another angle bracket for these input keys, something like this. So now we are going to jump into this output display, and I'm just going to have class name of output dash container, something like this. And here I'm just going to say a class name of input container, something like this. Yeah, now we will just jump into the app.css file. Here we will just have output dash container, something like this. And first let me just style this h1 like h1, and a color of white, and a letter spacing of 3px, and a position of relative, something like that. And I'm just going to have a font family, like roboto mono, and monospace, something like this. And this roboto mono I have also included along with the indie flowers. So it's just going to look something like this, you can see, which looks a bit nice. So now here in the output container we're just going to have a height of 3 rem, and a width of 25 rem, and a border radius of 310px, and a background image, something like a linear gradient with a 2 bottom, comma RGBA of 255, which literally leads us to a white color, but I'm just going to reduce the opacity to 0.5, and in the end is going to be just going to copy this code, paste it here. So let me just move this here. I'm just going to make this to 0.3. So if we just jump into the web page, nothing is visible, because what did I miss? I missed something. Border radius, height, width, border radius, background image. So let me just save this, refresh here, nothing happens because. So guys, I found where I really fucked up. Here I need to give a RGBA, not a RBGA, something like that. So let me just save, and you can see the output container here through which we are gonna print the output. So now I'm just going to have the input container, something like this. Input container, we're gonna say the same things also here. I'm just so now we're just gonna say the same things like height of 25, mount 30 rems, and width of 25 rems, same as that, and background image same as this. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste here. Here we're just gonna make a continue, something like if we just open this browser and refresh this page, you can see that the color is same. It will just starts with a 0.5 and ends with a 0.3. Here it starts with a 0.5, here it ends with a 0.3. So now what I'm just gonna do is that here it starts with a 0.5, ends with a 0.3. Here I'm just going to start with a 0.3 and end with a 0.1. So it looks like a continuation for a paper, something like that. So you can see the color transmission is same for all the things. So here I'm just gonna have the border radius of 10 px, something like that. So if I just on this page, you can see Glassmorphism. So it gives a nice glass kind of effect for us. Now I'm just going to have the input keys here, something like input keys. We need a lot of buttons, so for that I have to give this React here. So something like this won't give. Why did you do this to me? So now it actually works. So here I'm just going to have an AC, which means all clear, and a button of clear. I'm just going to copy these things a lot of times. I don't know how many times I have to do this, so let me just do this randomly. And here I'm just gonna have a percentage here, slash here 7, 8, 9, and x, which means multiplication, and 4 and 5 and 6, something like that, and minus, and 1, 2, 3. So we need a lot of buttons again. Just going to do the same thing, shift option down arrow, which leads my work 0 and point. We need another thing. I need an equal to, which is the main thing of our calculator, something like that. If we just open this, it looks really ugly. Okay, we will just style that. I'm just going to use this grid for that. I will just open this app CSS. Here we are gonna make a grid. Before that, we will just have a box shadow for this, something like 15px and 15px y, and 15px blur, and RGBA of 0, 0, 0, 0.2, which is nothing but black with opacity of 2.2. Sorry, the same thing here. So it gives a bit of box shadow for our containers. So let me just open this, and now I'm just gonna say this display of grid and grid template columns as repeat 4, FR, which means I'm just dividing the entire columns as 4 columns with a fraction of 1, which leads to equal length of every boxes. And I'm just going to have a grid template rows and repeat the same thing of 5 and 1 FR, which means 1 fraction of 5 things. Literally, it will just have 5 rows with equal length. That's it. Now I'm just going to give a gap of 1px and backdrop filter to have the glass effect for us. It will just blur the background things which are present there. 3px, something like that. If I just open my web page, let me just refresh this page, you can see the ugly looking buttons but ordered. So let me just make this thing has no background. So for that, I'm just going to say a button of width 100% and our height 100%. Oh, sorry, it's not 1005. 100%, and I'm just going to eliminate those borders and background color of transparent, and I'm just going to have a cursor pointer to make things a big pointer, and I'm just going to have a font family of Roberto Mono and monospace, something like that. And I'm just going to have a font size of x dash large, something like that, and a font weight of bold. And I'm just going to give a color of white. So we will just see this now in the web page. You can see now it looks really cool. So now it's time to make the calculator app real. So before diving into that, I'm just going to make those circles and squares here to make this thing look real like a class. So for that, I need a bunch of div tabs, which I really hate a lot. So I don't recommend you guys to use empty div tabs, which is really harmful for your web page. But since I'm just using pure CSS, I don't have another way. I need div tabs. I'm just gonna have 7 div tabs, or 7 or 6, 7, 8 div tabs. Like 3, 6, 7 already have, and another one 8. Okay, now this is cool. Now we will just, so here I'm just going to select the 5th child of this div inside the app, something like that. I'm just going to make this a fly, and we will just give a width of 20px and a height of 20px to make it a circle, and a border radius of 50% to make a circle, and a background color of RGBA. Oh, not, this is not a black, this is going to be a 255, something like that. Yeah. So now I'm just going to have a box shadow of -5px and -5px and 30px. So now this is not going to be a 5 because we need it in a positive y-axis. That's it. And I'm just going to give a blur of 30px and RGBA of 0, 0, 0.3, which is black. And I'm just going to say the position is going to be of absolute because I'm just going to move it across the web page, and is at index of 2 to make it above everything. And now we will just see the circle. Now you can see it is really small. It's really small. So to make this a bit bigger, I'm just going to say the as 100, something like that. So, oh no, I accidentally opened the terminal. I will just quit this. So you can see the circle here. Some things above this, it will just disappear because those are the empty div tags taking the place there. If I just put position as absolute, it will just automatically put everything down. That's it. So we will just do that first to get the actual position of everything. I'm just going to copy this same code and I'm just going to do a shift option down arrow. I don't know how much I have done. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's it. So let me just check once. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's it. Okay guys, so you can see now that space would have went off. Wait, it didn't. Why? Because I didn't change the number. Let me just make this as 6 and 7, 8 here and 9 here, 10 here, and 11, something like that. So, oh, this didn't quit. Where is that? Yes, just a minute. Okay, now you can see the circle. It looks really ugly because there are 8 circles one above another. We will just style that, don't worry. So now I'm just going to give the first circle the position as top of 23% and right of 32%. So you can see the circle is something like here, and I'm just going to make a smaller circle for the second one, something like 20px, and I'm just going to have a top of 32% and or it is to write as 32%. No, 38%. I messed up. You can see the circle is around here. So, and the third thing as I'm just going to give this randomly 70px, something like that, and top of 40% and right of 61%, something like that. So now you can see the circle is here, and the next I'm just going to leave this as another small circle, something like 15px, not 115, sorry kid. And here I'm just going to have a top of 47%, and what the hell is that? Just going to have a top of 47% and right as 61%. So you can see one small circle is here. So now I'm just going to have I'm just going to style the ninth one, something like this is going to be a square. For that we are gonna need 60px and 60px, and the border radius is going to be a 10px. So how to calculate that border radius for your square? So it is going to be averagely 30% of your entire length of your square. That's it. So I'm just going to say a top of, no, not this text, a line or text outline, something like that. I'm just going to need a top of 70%, and right, why I write right, I need right, man, that's it, right of 61%, something like that. If I just refresh this page, you can see the square is here, let me just make it here by a left, by giving a left something like that. So if you just, the square is here, and I'm just going to have a small square below that, something like 25 px, a smaller square, and here I'm just gonna say 5 px, and here I'm just gonna say a top of 76% and a left of 65%, something like that. If you just see this, now the square is somewhat here. Let me just make it closer, both squares. So for that, I'm just gonna say left of 64%. You can see the square is overlapped one above the other. So now we will just make the circles a bit here. So here I'm just going to reduce this size now to 25 px. I need a smaller circle with a top of 19% and left of 36%. Sorry, I messed up with the keys. So you can see the circle is here, and let me just move it a bit down, something like 20 px. Okay, it doesn't look great. Let me just have left of 37, something like that. And now I'm just going to have 15 px and 15 px for the another circle, and here I'm just gonna say a top of the same thing what I have done, 20%. Here I'm just going to have a 22% and left of what I have done here, 37. So then I'm just gonna say 38 for here. Yeah, something like that, but I don't need this here, I need this down here. So let me just make it wait, 36 and 21, something like that, and same 21, 23 here, and 36 here. Let me just make it 24. Yeah, now this looks weird. Whatever. So you can see so I will just leave this things literally the same. That's it. We have done pretty much the UI. Now we will just right away dive into the programming part. So yeah, so before doing that, I may do one thing. I can do a animation for on clicking this keys. I need a click effect to animate these keys. I'm just gonna give a bubble, something like that. So we will just do that. I'm just gonna open this input keys, and here I'm just going to have something like an on click event, something like on click, which equals which gets an event, and I'm just passing that event to an on click function, which I'm going to write it manually. I'm just going to pass this event as a key. So let me just copy this thing for the entire, wait, I can't. Okay, now, no, not like that, I hate this. Wait, let me just copy it. Wait, good. Yeah, now let me just paste it here, all around here, something like this. Yeah, now we will just place that. So yeah, here I'm just gonna write a function called const on click, something like that, to arrow function, which gets event as an parameter. And now I'm just gonna say call a click effect, something like that, and I'm just going to pass this e. Now I'm just going to say another function called const on click effect, something like that, to arrow function with input keys such as object. Sorry, it may be an object. It is an event. I will just pass the event. Sorry, I fucked up. Then just have a let x which equals to e dot client x minus e dot target dot offset left. Sorry, I think this would be a small s and here it will be a capital L, something like that. So this e dot client x minus e dot target dot offset left gives me where I exactly click on the x-axis. Now I need it in the y-axis, something like we'll just copy this thing, and I'm just gonna have a client y and a top, something like that. I think this T is capital. Okay, now I'm just going to have a span tag. Why I keep on writing this left? This is let man span. Now I need a span tag. I'm just going to create it inside the document dot create element, something like that, called span. I'm creating a span tag and I'm just naming it as a span. So now I'm just going to span dot style dot left equals to x plus a px, and the same thing I'm just going to do it again by span dot style dot top as y, something like that. So now I'm just going to push the span element. Before that, I'm just going to have a background color, which is going to be an RGBA of 255, which is going to be a white with a reduced opacity 2.5, yeah, something like that. And I'm just going to push this span tag into the button element. So e dot target dot append child, something like that, and the span. That's it. And wait, hold on. So now we have to style this span tag in the app.css file, something like at the end. Something like span and a position of absolute. If I'm giving absolute here, I need to give a position relative in the button so that it works fine. Relative, something like that, and overflow of hidden, which will eliminate those excess things. That's it. And I'm going to give an z index of 3 2 so that this thing will be above everything, like that, and border radius of 50%, which gives a nice circle effect for us. And I'm just going to give a translate to minus 50%. So this makes where I click, or it will just appear a bit wider than where I click. That's why I'm just going to give an animate name and 0.5 seconds the time duration, and then ease. So now here I will just have a keyframe, and the identifier is nothing but animate. Here I am just going to have a from of height of 0px to width of 0px to, and opacity of 1 to HIGC height of 200% and width of 200% and opacity of 0.5. So what actually I'm doing. I know it doesn't make sense to you guys. Wait, hold on, wait for that. So here what I have done, if I on-click this button, I'm just creating a span tag, and I'm just going to push this span tag to this span inside this. It will just appear inside between this AC. So I have to set a timeout because the click will not allow to stay there. If I, as soon as I click, it has to pop up a circle. After it pop up, it have to go down, something like that. So here I'm just going to have a set timeout function to e dot no, something like 1000, which means 1 second, and span dot remove. I'm just removing that span. Oh, span dot remove, something like that. So if I just refresh, the click effect is working here. If we just on click this, we got a nice effect around the box, something like suddenly a circle pops up and it goes all around the square and it just vanishes. That's it, we got that effect. Now we have just completed the UI part. We will just now going to style the we will just now going to jump into the programming part of this calculator. So for that, we are going to need a useState from React. I'm just going to import useState. Oh no, why this is always to me, I don't know. From React, like so. We'll just have gap here, and now I'm just going to have a const input comma set input. No, you, it's not like that. Now I'm just going to have an input comma set input, which equals to use state, something like that, and it's just going to be a string. The input value is going to be a string now, and I'm just going to need another called output to store the output, and set output. Sorry guys, I messed it up again, and which equals to equal, which leads to an equal to use states, and it is also going to be a string, and it is now going to be a const error to display the error in the mathematical expression, and I need a set error, something like that, which equals to a use state, something like that. Yeah, now we are gonna create a function. So we just get these values from here. If it is if I just click AC, I'm just going to pass this AC to the app.js file, and I'm just going to push this as a value to the input state, something like that. So now we will just have another parameter called all clear, wait, within a string, all clear, something like that, and something like clear, and the percentage. This thing goes off because I need another attribute here called a value, and I'm just going to pass this to another function here. I will just hard code it now. First, I'm just going to give value for everything, something like the 7, year 8, and 9, and this is going to be a per multiply symbol, and a 4, and a 5 here, and a 6 here, minus here, and 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and plus here, sorry, and 0 0 here, and 0 and George. Oh, this is fucked up because I need this parenthesis outside. Yeah, I have automated that. So now I'm just going to pass this here as a value. Now I have to take this value outside this input keys to the app.js. So for that, I'm just going to write a function called const set input values, something like that. It equals to an arrow function. Okay, now I will just get a attribute called value. So now I will just pass this set input value as a prop to the input display, something like that, equals, it's the same thing. So here I will just get that as a prop here, and I'm just going to pass this value into that. That's it. So now we will just go to the app.js file. So now we will just have a condition that if the value actually equals to all clear, make sure the same spelling what I have provided here, the C is capital. So let me just make this C capital. If it equals to the all clear, I have to make this input empty. That's what that means actually. That's it. Now I'm just going to have an else if condition that value equals clear. Then I'm just going to set the input to input dot pop slice the last thing, and I'm just going to push it. So let me just explain. Input is nothing but a string of input values what I'm just going to calculate. So if I just have this input, if I just slice this to 0 comma 1, which actually means if it has a 5 element, then 0 is the starting and the -1 is the ending. -1, if I just give -1 as a second prop to the slice, it means the before value of this -1. So it goes up to 0 to the last before element. So it will just slice, if it has 5 characters, the input, it will just slice out the 4 characters, and we will just push that 4 characters to the input value. We will just assign that 4 character to the set input. So that's what clear means. We're just clearing the last value. That's it. Now I'm just going to have an else if condition with a value of equals to equal. So as soon as the user clicks the equal symbol, we just gonna call another function to calculate the output. So now I'm just going to calculate the output. We will just do that part later. So now I'm just going to push every other values into the set input as input plus value. So what we are doing here really, so if the value is equal to 1, we will just add this value to that input string. If this input string is already empty, we will just add the value 1 and we will just push it to the input. So now the input means 1. So then if a user clicks a plus symbol, then the plus will come here and the plus will be added to this input. So 1 plus will be pushed to this input variable. That's it. So if it is equals to equal, we will just create a function to generate the output. So now let me just showcase this. We will just pass this input to the output display as a prop, something like that, and oh, sorry guys, I made a mistake. something like that, and I'm just going to display the input here. So now let me just child this bit because it looks ugly. It will look ugly. I'm just going to give a color of white for that font in the output and a font family of Roberto Mono and a monospace, and I'm just going to give a font size as XX large, something like that, and the font weight as bolder, and padding of 10px, and text align of right to make it exactly look like a vintage calculator, and the overflow X is going to be a scroll, and I will just give a backdrop filter so that it gives a glass effect for us as a blur of 3px, the same as the input container. So we have just completed that part. Now if we just open the browser, let me just refresh. So if we just click 7, you can see that 7 is displayed here, which means we are pushing the 7 to the output. Sorry, we are pushing the 7 to the input variable, something like 8 9 into 6 7 23. So if I, as soon as I hit equals, the output has to be generated. So we will just generate that output now. We will just go here. We will just call the function called generate output, something like that, and we will just call the function. Here let me just write a const generate output, something like that, and which is going to be arrow function. I don't know why I'm messing with the keyboard. To generate the output, we need a math.js dependency. So we will just get the math.js as a dependency. Let me just Google it a bit. Oh no, math.js. Get started. npm install math.js. That's it. We will just use the terminal. Sorry, we cannot use it here. We may need another terminal. We may create another terminal by clicking that. I'm just going to run this npm install math.js. Just hit the enter. It may take a few seconds, so we will just wait for that. So math has been installed. Let me just destroy this and we'll just close this. Yeah, so now if I just open this package.json, you can see math.js is installed as a dependency. Math.js is now installed. Now I can just import something called evaluate. Something called the evaluate from math.js. Okay, we will just use this evaluate to the math. Something like we will just create a const out which equals to evaluate, and I'm just going to pass the input value, which we have a useState called input. So I've just include that, and I'm just going to set the output as out. So now I have pushed the output value to the set output to this output variable. Now I will just pass that output as a prop to this display, which means output which equals to output. So now here I'm just gonna have this something called the output. Yeah, let me just have it as a prop here. That's it. So if I just refresh this page now, what happened? Okay, it is here. So if I just 86 into 3, which equals 0, you may see the input is 89 into 3, but the output is 267. Both are displayed at the same time, so we need to fix this bug. Okay, and then you may notice one thing, that is right, let me just refresh this page. You can see that if a person gives not a valid mathematical expression, we just hit equal, it will throw a big error for me. We have to handle this. So let me just refresh. So if I just go to the app.js file, we will just have a try catch block here, something like try, and I will just push this above, and we will just catch the error, and we will just put the error into the error dot message, something like that. So error is an object, and error object contains a message called the error. So I have just pushed the set error to this error variable of useState. Now I'm just going to pass that error to the display. We'll just close this. So I'm just going to have another prop called error. Something like that, and error here. So if we just open this page, if I give not a valid mathematical expression, something like this, it will just give a value expected char1. Now we need to fix a bug, something like let me just refresh. 86 minus 6, which equals the input and the output are shown at the same time. We need to eliminate this. To eliminate this, we can have something like another input, another if condition, something like a value is not equals to the equal, then I'm just going to set the output, sorry, I'm just going to set the output and the error as nothing. I'm just going to empty those arrays. Think this is an empty string. We have an error value. If we do another mathematical expression, we need to get rid of the old error. So that's what I'm doing here. If the user clicks the equal to symbol, then you will just get rid of the other errors and the output in the display, something like that. And we have to eliminate the, wait, let me just show that again. So if I just click the equal here, we need to eliminate this 89 minus 6, because those are the input, 83 is the output. So in the code, if I just click the equal to, I have generated the output. Now I have to eliminate those input, something like I'm just going to empty that. So if I have generated the output, I will just eliminate the input. So let me just showcase it again. So 89 minus 6, which gives an 83, not 89 minus 6, 83, something like that, which is really weird. So if I just click the equal to symbol, I will just get rid of those inputs, and the only output will be displayed. That's it. So what these things are for? So let me just have another scenario. 89 minus 6, which equals 83. Now something like 7, which throws an error, value expected at char1, something like that. So I have an error, something like a value expected. Okay, I need to eliminate this error, because if I just click 89 minus 6 again, this error has to go off. So If I click anything, any character other than equal to, it will just eliminate the output and the error. So there won't be any data of the previously calculated mathematical expressions output and error. So everything will be cleared from the useState. That's it. Yeah. So that's it, guys. We have completed the calculator app really quick and easily. I know this is a long video. If you had stick around the end of the video, sub to the channel would be amazing, guys. uh, I don't know what to say. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Support me on Instagram, Twitter. The links are in the description. If you don't know how to create React applications like this, I have done many projects. Those links also in the description. So until I catch you in the next one, goodbye.